gathering momentum now. As one young man put it when we were talking inside, the word on the street is respect. The word on the street is that suddenly, when no one expected it, what was going to be a coronation has become a real election. And if anyone imagined that as my opponent inherited his council seat from his father, he would inherit the parliamentary seat from the departed, not literally departed, but departing from Parliament, Marsha Singh. Anyone who thought that now knows differently. Anyone who thought that there was not going to be a real contest here between different visions of Bradford's future now knows differently, because the God works in mysterious ways. I had no idea that Marsha Singh was going to stand down. I had no idea there was going to be a parliamentary vacancy in Bradford, a place which is almost a perfect fit for the politics I represent. A place that I have been I've spoken at more than 50 public meetings in Bradford over the last decade, since 9/11, and many of you have been present at many of those occasions. So it's happened by Kismet or Nasib that this by-election has occurred, that I'm available, and I'm placing myself at your disposal. Obviously, it's up to the people to choose. And I hope I don't sound too immodest if I blow my own trumpet. I'd be strange if I wasn't asking you to vote for me, and I therefore have to give you some reasons for doing that. Some of them are, if you like, positive, proactive reasons. Some of them are reasons about who and what I'm not. And the first of those is, I want to appeal to you to look at it this way. By voting for me, you're not voting against Labour. I am Labour. I was thrown out of Labour. I was expelled by Tony Blair for my role as the leader of the opposition in Britain to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. So don't hold that against me. Hold that against Blair. In fact, wouldn't the best answer be to elect me to Parliament so I could say for the second time, Mr. Blair, I'm back? Wouldn't that be a fine thing? And maybe one day Labour can come back to being Labour again. And if it did, I'd be the first person seeking to rejoin it. But as long as Labour drifts farther and farther away from what a Labour Party is supposed to be, well, some of us will insist on remaining real Labour. If we are not new Labour, we are definitely real Labour. So I know that a lot of you are traditional Labour voters. I'm not asking you to turn away from that tradition. I'm asking you to continue that tradition by voting for me in this election. Now, my opponent, it's a two-horse race. I think everybody already knows that, even with 12 days to go. It's either going to be me or Imran Hussain, who goes to Parliament from Bradford West. And here are quickly my main points. If Imran Hussain is elected, nobody will notice and nothing will change. The waters will close over the event, and it might well as not having happened. Nobody will notice. Outside of Bradford West, nobody will notice. In Parliament, in Westminster, in Whitehall, in the national media, in the international media, nobody will notice. Another anonymous, mediocre, dare I say, local councillor will have been sent from Bradford to Parliament. Well, you've tried that. You've already got plenty of mediocre local councillors in Parliament, and a fat lot of good it's doing. This city is sinking into that big hole where Westfield should be. It's easier for me, coming from outside, perhaps, to see that as clearly, more clearly than you. When I discovered that Bradford schools are 95th out of 105 in England, that's a badge of shame. I'd be ashamed to say I was a Bradford councillor if my schools were 95th out of 105. I wouldn't be putting up a councillor as a candidate. In fact, if I was Labour, I'd have found somebody from far away who didn't have that record of failure around their neck. The Manningham Pool is shut. The Odeon's falling down. The Westfield Hole is dragging everybody after it. The schools are failing. There's mass unemployment, youth unemployment, child poverty, poor health, services slashed to the bone, with many, many more jobs still to be lost in the council's cuts. Why would you want to send one of the people who's presided over all of that to Parliament to represent you and expect anything to change? In fact, it's one of the tests, isn't it, of madness, to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. It's one of the clinical tests of madness. And I think, given that you have an alternative, that it would be wrong to do the same thing over again by sending Imran Hussain to Parliament. Second, why would you send a councillor to Parliament when you could send a parliamentarian to Parliament? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I spent almost 25 years in the House of Commons. I was awarded all these awards and accolades, the best debater, the best speaker, parliamentarian of the year, and all of that. Why wouldn't you want that on your side rather than a councillor of no great merit or importance? I put it this way in footballing terms. Who would you rather was through on goal, one-on-one, against the goalkeeper? Who do you think would score the goal? Him or me? Who would you rather be on Question Time, speaking for you? Who would you rather was on Newsnight, or the news, Channel 4 News, or This Week, or who would you rather was in the ring fighting for you, me or him? You have to ask yourself that question and answer it to yourself honestly. You know that I would better put your interests and your case in the public arena than him. That's just, I think, a matter of fact. And I'm ready to do it and asking you to give me the support to do it. I'll fight for Bradford and the people of Bradford West. That'll be my number one priority. But I do not apologise for the fact that for almost 40 years I have also fought for the people of Palestine, Kashmir, Afghanistan, and all the other places that are being bombed and attacked in the world today. That's not a negative. It's being used against me by Labour as a negative. How can it be a negative? Above all, how could it be a negative to you? It's a wajib, duty to care about the Aqsa, about the people under occupation in Kashmir, about the massacre in Kandahar. It's a duty upon all of us to do that. It's not an optional extra. I see people here in this audience who travelled with me all the way to Gaza, some of them more than once. 5 times I drove from London to Gaza at the head of a huge international convoy to break the siege on Gaza and give the people something to eat. What could be wrong with that? How could that be a negative? How could that be a reason not to vote for me? How could it be a reason not to vote for me, especially to you? So, I'm hoping that on the 29th, and I really feel that this is possible, otherwise I wouldn't be wasting my breath or your time, I really feel that we can win this. I really feel that something is moving on the streets of Bradford West. And I hope that you will become part of it. I hope that you'll take our posters, take our leaflets, join our campaign, send text messages to everyone in your address book, send emails to everyone in your email address book, get involved in the campaign so that this bandwagon, if you like, becomes more and more powerful. And I know, as I see here, right in my line of vision now, I see people who are Labour, Conservative and Liberal Democrat. You could go back to that, if you like, afterwards. But I tell you this, if you elect Imran Hussain, age 33, he's going to be here for 40 years. You must really like him if you want him to be here for 40 years. Me, on the other hand, I'm much older. And you can get rid of me, as our brother from the Jang says. I'll not be around forever. There'll be new politics after me. But I think we can send a powerful message to the national media, to the Westminster system, and internationally, from the Punjab to Palestine, from Baghdad to Bradford. It'll make everybody sit up and take notice if you elect me on the 29th. We can send a powerful message that Bradford's not going to sink without a fight. Bradford's not going to disappear down that hole without a fight. And Bradford's going to stand up and is going to say that we are here and we demand better than this, we deserve better than this, and we will have better than this. Wassalamu alaikum. Thank you very much indeed for listening to me.
Please don't leave. There's some food available, refreshments, and also you can ask some questions and answers with George. If there's any concerns, you can raise them with George. He's here for another at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
So whilst
I'm
we do that, and he's hungry. As well as everybody else. So come on, guys. Speak to him, talk to him, ask him what you want. And listen,